At sunrise, a white egg rolls across a diner counter and stops beside a steaming cup of coffee. Maya Torres, a food historian, watches the cook crack it with one clean tap. The shell opens, the yolk lands, and breakfast begins as if nothing mysterious has happened. Around her, dozens of customers order eggs without asking where this habit came from. Duck eggs, goose eggs, quail eggs, and turkey eggs never enter the conversation. Maya lifts the empty shell and turns it between her fingers. Something this ordinary, she realizes, must be hiding an extraordinary history. Across the counter, 12-year-old Leo stares at the shell in her hand. He asks why nearly every breakfast egg comes from a chicken. The cook pauses with his spatula in midair. No one at the counter has a quick answer. One customer guesses that chicken eggs taste better. Another says chickens must simply be easier to find. Maya smiles because all three answers contain a fragment of the truth. But none explains how one bird conquered kitchens across the planet. She invites Leo to follow the story backward. Their first stop is a crowded supermarket glowing under cold white lights. Egg cartons rise in long walls from floor to shoulder height. Yet almost every carton contains the same species. Leo searches the shelves for turkey eggs and finds none. Maya points to the price tags arranged in neat rows. The secret, she says, is written in numbers before it is written in taste. Those low prices are possible because farms produce eggs every day. Leo imagines a long chain stretching from the carton to the distant past. It begins under humid leaves in the forests of South and Southeast Asia. There, red junglefowl scratch through soil for seeds, insects, and fallen fruit. Their bodies are lean, alert, and built for survival rather than production. A wild hen lays a small clutch, protects it, and waits for the next season. Food disappears when the dry season tightens its grip. In that world, laying hundreds of eggs would be a dangerous waste. Humans slowly change that rhythm. Maya and Leo enter a village reconstruction beside a river. Rosa, Maya's grandmother, waits beside a small enclosure made of reeds. Rosa explains that early villagers did not begin with an egg factory in mind. They noticed that certain birds stayed close to human settlements. Humans gained meat, feathers, alarm calls, and eventually reliable eggs. The birds that reproduced near people left more descendants. Generation after generation, fear softened into familiarity. A wild creature became a household presence. No single morning marked the invention of the chicken. It unfolded through countless small choices made by unnamed families. Each action pulled the bird deeper into human life. Leo watches Rosa collect 3 warm eggs from a straw nest. Maya places one beside a modern commercial egg. One egg belongs to a bird shaped mostly by nature. The other belongs to a bird shaped by centuries of human preference. The village path opens onto an ancient trade road. Carts creak over stones while merchants guide animals through dust. Chickens travel well because they are small. They eat food that people cannot always use. They reproduce faster than cattle, sheep, or goats. They can be carried in baskets, cages, or the corners of boats. A merchant named Samuel lifts a wicker crate onto a wagon. Inside, hens balance as the wheels begin to turn. Samuel does not need acres of pasture for them. He does not need a deep pond or a guarded wetland. He needs grain, water, shelter, and patience. That simple requirement changes the map of food. Chickens move west through trade networks. They move east with sailors and farmers. They cross deserts in caravans and seas in wooden ships. Every new settlement tests whether the birds can survive. Many do. They adapt to courtyards, temples, farms, ports, and city alleys. Their eggs become portable nutrition wrapped in a natural shell. The shell protects the contents better than exposed milk or fresh meat. The egg can be boiled, baked, fried, traded, or carried. It works in sweet dishes and savory dishes. It binds dough, thickens sauces, and enriches porridge. Its usefulness spreads faster than any single recipe. Leo notices that convenience keeps appearing in the story. Maya nods and points toward a crossroads crowded with animals. A goose honks beside a muddy trough. A duck disappears into a canal. A turkey paces behind a tall fence. Each bird can provide edible eggs, but each comes with complications. Geese are large, seasonal, and expensive to maintain. Turkeys grow slowly and lay far fewer eggs. Ducks can be productive, but they need different housing and management. Quail lay many small eggs, yet collecting and processing them takes extra labor. The chicken sits in a powerful middle ground. It matures quickly. It eats a flexible diet. Most importantly, people can breed it for more frequent laying. The trade road dissolves into a farmyard 200 years later. Arun Patel, a farmer, opens the door of a wooden coop before dawn. Arun remembers which birds remain productive. He saves eggs from the best layers for hatching. Yet selection quietly accumulates. A hen that lays slightly more passes on an advantage. Human preference acts like an invisible hand over generations. It repeatedly chooses which traits continue. Leo watches a family ledger fill with marks beside each hen. The marks look simple, but they guide the next generation. Maya explains that domestication is not only taming, it is a long biological negotiation. By the 19th century, poultry breeding becomes more deliberate. Farmers exchange breeding stock across regions. Railroads move eggs farther before they spoil. Cities grow, and urban workers need affordable food. The breakfast egg enters a commercial system. Markets demand uniform size and predictable supply. Farmers respond by separating egg breeds from meat breeds. Laying breeds are selected for persistent production. The bird's role becomes increasingly specialized. Maya and Leo step into an early 20th century hatchery. Rows of warm cabinets hum against brick walls. Dr. Evelyn Chen, a geneticist, opens one incubator. Hundreds of chicks push against broken shells. Artificial incubation changes the scale of breeding. Farmers can compare families and preserve productive lines. Electric lighting extends the working day. Better feed reduces seasonal shortages. Veterinary knowledge prevents some devastating diseases. Each improvement removes another limit. The hen's natural cycle is pushed toward human schedules. Leo hears the hatchery as a chorus of tiny calls. The sound is hopeful and unsettling at once. Maya studies the machines without looking away. Efficiency can feed millions. Efficiency can also hide the cost paid by animals. The story cannot end with cheap cartons alone. The hatchery doors open into a vast modern barn. Arun, now visiting as an agricultural consultant, checks a digital screen. A modern laying hen may produce hundreds of eggs in a year. This difference is not an accident. It is the result of breeding, nutrition, lighting, disease control, and industrial organization. The supermarket wall now makes sense. Every carton represents a system designed for repetition. Restaurants build menus around dependable supply. The chicken egg wins because the entire chain reinforces its victory. Leo asks whether taste ever mattered. Maya leads him into a test kitchen filled with bowls. Chef Nia Williams places 5 cooked eggs on a wooden table. Chicken, duck, quail, goose, and turkey eggs sit side by side. Nia slices each egg without revealing its name. Leo tastes carefully. The duck egg feels richer. The goose egg seems almost like a meal by itself. The chicken egg is not automatically the winner. It is simply the standard his tongue knows best. Familiarity has trained expectation. Recipes were written around it. Pans, cartons, serving sizes, and prices were built around it. A standard becomes powerful when everything else adjusts to match. Nia cracks a duck egg into cake batter. She explains that bakers often value duck eggs for richness. In other regions, salted duck eggs remain everyday food. Goose eggs become seasonal specialties. Different food cultures make different choices. The global dominance of chicken eggs is real, but it is not absolute. Maya draws a circle around the word choice on her notebook. The circle has no power by itself. Supply determines which choices appear on the shelf. Price determines which choices families can repeat. Habit determines which choices feel normal. Marketing determines which choices look trustworthy. Regulation determines which choices reach large markets. The winning egg is supported by an ecosystem of decisions. Leo returns to the supermarket with sharper eyes. He no longer sees a simple wall of cartons. He sees forests, villages, roads, farms, laboratories, barns, and trucks. He sees thousands of years compressed into cardboard. A carton is a historical object disguised as groceries. He picks up a brown egg and a white egg. Their colors look different, but their nutrition is broadly similar. Shell color mostly follows breed rather than quality. The packaging encourages him to read meaning into appearance. Maya turns the carton and studies the production label. Words such as cage-free, free-range, pasture-raised, and organic compete for trust. The terms describe different systems, but they do not erase every welfare concern. Some labels guarantee specific practices. Others leave room for conditions consumers may not imagine. The cheap egg carries hidden questions. How much space did the hen have? Could she perch, scratch, or dust bathe? How was her feed produced? What happened when her laying rate declined? Who worked inside the barns and packing plants? What environmental costs remained outside the price tag? The hidden history now reaches the present tense. Leo's curiosity becomes responsibility. Maya does not tell him to reject eggs. She asks him to understand the system before making a choice. They visit a small pasture farm at the edge of the city. Hens move through grass under portable shelters. A hawk circles high above the field. Protection still matters, just as it did in the ancient village. Fresh ground reduces disease and gives the flock new forage. The eggs cost more because the system uses more land and labor. Not every family can afford the highest-priced carton. Ethical food choices are shaped by income as well as intention. Maya refuses to turn the lesson into a simple moral test. A parent buying the cheapest safe protein is not the villain of the story. A farmer trapped by contracts and debt is not the sole author of the system. A consumer reading confusing labels cannot solve every problem alone. Change requires pressure at many points. Farms can improve space, enrichment, and handling. Governments can strengthen welfare and labeling rules. Consumers can support better systems when their budgets allow. Researchers can develop alternatives that reduce waste and suffering. The egg becomes a lens for viewing the entire food economy. At sunset, Maya, Leo, Rosa, Arun, Dr. Chen, Samuel, and Naya gather around a long outdoor table. The meal includes eggs prepared in several traditions. A chicken egg crowns a plate of rice. No single dish claims to be universal. Rosa taps her spoon against the shell of a boiled egg. The sound is small, but the history behind it is vast. Leo looks at the final egg on his plate. It no longer seems inevitable. Chicken eggs did not conquer breakfast because nature declared them superior. They rose because chickens fit human settlements unusually well. They traveled easily. They reproduced quickly. They accepted many foods and climates. They produced eggs of a practical size. People repeatedly bred the best layers. Trade spread them. Technology multiplied them. Industry standardized them. Markets made them cheap. Recipes made them familiar. Habit made them invisible. That invisibility was the final victory. The most successful food is often the one nobody thinks to question. Leo cracks the shell more slowly than he did that morning. He notices the strength required to protect something so fragile. The yolk drops into the pan with a soft golden curve. Breakfast looks ordinary again. Yet the ordinary has changed. Maya closes her notebook and watches the steam rise. History has not disappeared. It is waiting inside the next routine. Tomorrow, millions of hands will reach for chicken eggs. Most will do so because the system makes that choice easy. Some will choose different eggs. Some will choose higher welfare farms. Some will choose plant-based breakfasts. Some will simply pause and wonder. That pause is where hidden history becomes visible. The question was never only why we eat chicken eggs. The deeper question is how human choices become traditions. Traditions become industries. Industries become expectations. Expectations become the shape of everyday life. Once we see that process, breakfast becomes more than a meal. It becomes evidence. It becomes inheritance. It becomes a decision repeated one shell at a time.